And hey, welcome back to another episode of The Mind of James. I am James. Once again, as usual and as always, the fantastic Yuengling lager, accompanied by the Raz. This one is a cherry strapple. I've smoked on this a few times. I really like it. Just got off of an 8-hour stream, and I'm here talking to all you fabulous folks. And today's episode is a 2024 wrap up of what happened in 2024 and what's going to happen or what I plan to have happen in 2025. So 2024 started off a little rough. I was living with my parents because I moved back from Colorado. And you know, if you hang around people long enough, you start to become them. You really do. And you know, when I was living with them, we kept our distance. Like, I stayed in the room I was living in. They stayed in the living room, but like, I still try to make a podcast, still play video games, but man, it's just at the end of the day, you know, you're just going to be the people that you hang around, and that's it. And that's all there is to it. So I really had to assess what I wanted in life and what I wanted to do in life. And it was very difficult for me to just sit around, because my parents, what they'll do is that they'll come home after work, they'll get their pajamas on, they'll sit on the chair and couch and play phone games until they have to go to bed and watch TV. Great. That works for some people. I'm always doing something, man. I don't know what it is, but I am always doing something. Whether it is playing video games, you know, I've come to find out that I really love streaming. I really love playing video games. So if I can combine the two together and make it an actual streaming career, let's do it. You know, let's fucking do it. So it was basically just me taking a lot of time off and assessing what I wanted in life and just dealing with the mental bullshit of things. There's something floating in the air, right? That looked like a spider web. Just me taking an assessment of what is going to happen and what I have to make happen. Because I know that I just didn't want to do a podcast and stream there. I just didn't want to do it. I just don't. This is my world. This is my kingdom. You know what I mean? And yeah, I could have done it. Could have. But I didn't. And I didn't want to. I needed to really assess and understand what the hell happened the last year. You got to think. By myself. Before that, I was living by myself in an apartment complex and hung around no one. You know, barely any people came over. I barely talked to anybody. And I never went anywhere. I never traveled. I've never really solo traveled in my life, to be perfectly honest with you. Never solo traveled in my life. So for me to just pick up and move to Colorado was it an experience of a lifetime that I was not ready for. I was not ready for it. God, I was not ready for that. I picked up, I moved, and I was like, what the hell do I do now? But this is a 2024 recap. But yeah, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready. I should have done some solo traveling before I just picked up and moved. And I didn't. So we get to I still did comedy a little bit, and I just even wasn't feeling that. I'm a bit of, with some things I can be a perfectionist. With other things, I'm like, good enough will get you far. But like with comedy, man, I would love and respect comedy so much that I want every word to be perfect. I want every sentence to line up. And I just didn't know how to um, do it. But like the biggest thing with comedy and the biggest thing with everything in life is that you have to fail, 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 fail to get it right a little bit. Fail, 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 get it right a little bit more. And I am just, I I'm getting to that point where I'm getting used to failing, 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 get it right a little bit, failing, 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 get it right a little bit, failing, 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 get it right a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm getting used to that. And like this podcast, go back and listen to episodes. You will see where the failing is, where they're getting it right, where the failing is, where they're getting it right. But so we come to around February. And if you're single, Valentine's Day sucks. It's another fucking day. Whatever day it lands on, it's another fucking day. That's all it is. That's honestly all that is. And so we get to February, get to Valentine's Day. It is not good. I am not in a good mental spot. I am not in a good, healthy spot. I mean, I'm going to the gym, but I'm not mentally, I'm not healthy. I was not healthy at all. I was, every day I needed a reason not to put a gun in my mouth. Every day I needed a reason. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know where the reason was going to come. Mainly it was my dog Maya. And God bless her, God rest her soul too. She stuck through it, man. And then she started getting sick. So I took her to the doctor. The doctor said, let's get some x-rays, and the x-rays found an enlarged something in her chest. So and she developed a cough, and it just got worse over time. Got worse, kept getting her meds. And finally the doctor was like, okay, let's take this to I don't want to say professional, someone who specializes in this. Like, okay. So I scheduled an appointment for her to, and this is around, February, March, April, May, June. About May and June is when she really developed a cough and really got sick. And the only thing I could do for her was just give her the meds, because the specialist was booked until late August. So she still had some energy, but you could tell she was just not feeling good. And it's just like this poor girl is 13 years old. She's 105 pounds, 110 pounds. Big dogs like that don't last. And it was coming to the point where she was just getting to that point, getting to that age and sickness. And so August comes, July. She died on July 28th. So I move in here into this apartment. I love this apartment. There's a Hooters right down the street. And through the whole apartment looking, I was very hesitant in moving in here because there was a Hooters down the street, and I knew I was going to be there quite a bit. On the backside of that, I am 36 years old, and I can do whatever I want, and no one can tell me no. You know what I mean? I have no kids. I am single as a bird. Single as the number one. So I had to stop feeling guilty about that. You know what I mean? I had to stop feeling guilty about doing what I want because I thought other people or someone else would be like, yeah, you can't do that. Like, I'm single. So I move in here. Um, 7 days before the 28th, which is the 21st, 22nd, something like that. And Maya did not eat. She did not want to eat. She had no care to eat. She enjoyed treats. And then a couple days before she died, she wouldn't even eat treats. And to get her to walk down the stairs, it's one flight of stairs, and out the door to pee, she would go outside and just lay down. Like, that's all the strength she had. And I was just like, man, this isn't good. This isn't good. So we get to the 25th. Now there's a little pond right down the walkway here, and her and I went to go sit down there, and we sat there on a bench, and we had a conversation that was just like, you know what, Maya, I'm gonna be okay. I want to thank you for getting me to this point, because without you, I probably would have stuck a gun in my mouth. And I want to go on video record here to say, if it wasn't for my dog, I probably would have done it. Yep. I'll say it on record here. Uh, so I just want to thank her that she was here with me for that time. And I do miss her a lot. God, do I miss her a lot. So we get to a week after we move into this apartment, July 28th, which is a Sunday. I want to say it's a Sunday. Let me look. Um, it was a complete blur to me. July 28th. Yep, Sunday. She would not leave behind this couch. She would not move. So I called my brother. I was like, Dylan, I need your opinion here. Something's not right with my puppy dog. My beautiful puppy, which she was still my puppy. So he comes over. She didn't even move for him, and he's like, take her to the hospital. It's like they're all closed. Well, Grady's was open. I did not care what dime I had to spend for her. I spent it. So I get to the hospital. They wheel out the stretcher for her. She shits and pees in the car. The smell's still there. We wheel her in. The doctor immediately walks around the front desk there at Grady's and goes, your dog is passing away now. Do you want to try and resuscitate her? I didn't know what to say. I did not know what to say. I was shocked. But remember that little conversation we had with her, that I had with her. I was at peace with where she was, and I was at peace with what was going to happen. But you still don't know. You still don't know what's going to happen. You still don't know how it's going to happen. And so I tell the doc, well, the words came out of my mouth because I had nothing on the brain. It said, you know, she's at the end of her life. I'm okay with this. And they said, okay. So they brought me back in a room, and I'm just waiting there. They wheel her in, and she's gone, guys. She's gone. Barely has a pulse. you could tell, like, when a dog's face, their jaw, they would lay on their side, and their cheek is still good, but her mouth was open, the skin, her cheek was in her mouth, like nothing was there. And they gave her that shot that stops her heart completely, and I started bawling my eyes out because it's my dog, and I thought I'd have a little more time with her, especially getting moved into this place. But she was like, "You're okay, I'm out." And that's exactly what happened, man. That's exactly what happened. And in hindsight, I'm glad it happened quickly like that. I don't think I could stand to see her be like that at all. So, so the next couple weeks are just getting used to the fact that I don't have anything other than me to worry about, other than the streaming and the podcast and going to work. And paying my bills. I have nothing else to worry about. Nothing. And that's weird. The first couple days where I'd get home and there was Maya and she wasn't there. And I am still kind of getting used to it. It is now December 30th and she died July 28th. I'm still getting used to it, man. I'm still getting used to the fact that I can go do things and not worry about coming home for a weekend. You know what I mean? And she's up in heaven with her brother. She's up in heaven with her brother. So I can't say anything bad about that. The Lord's looking after her and Leo. And so are my grandparents, and Grandma Heinzman are looking after her and him. So between her dying and now, there's been a lot of realizations of I have to understand that this is a new lifestyle for me. Because normally, my excuse was to go home early is I got a dog, gotta let her out, gotta feed her. I don't have that excuse anymore. So now I gotta worry. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't have to worry about coming home anymore. Wally takes care of my, the security needs. Wally's my little security camera. Cute little guy. I call him Wally. He looks like Wally. I probably mentioned it, but so it's just getting used to this new life and this new chapter of mine. And 2025, I'm going to travel a lot more. I'm going to Austin, Texas in January. And I want to go to LA for Christmas. So that's my plan. And at some point, maybe go to New Mexico. Who knows? That's a story that's a different podcast for a different time. But yeah, man, 2024 was a rough year in the beginning, a rough front half, but an amazing ending. An amazing ending. I had my first Friendsmas ever. Now, I've had friends before and we got together for Christmas, but we never really had what I call a Friendsmas. And it is just, and two of the friends, they brought their significant other, and I just sat there fifth wheeling. And I'm getting to the point of being used to fifth wheeling shit or third wheeling it now, and I'm okay with that. So, it was just good to have a Friendsmas, man. It's just good to get a bond with people again. You know, you're not alone out there. Don't feel like you're alone. And if you want to be alone, then yeah, you want to be alone. But like, you know, it's good to get out and get company too. It's good to get out and have that kind of thing. But what a strange new world it is without Maya. What a strange new world it is, man. And you'll have those times. You'll have those times where you understand that this is a new chapter in my life and I have to live it to the fullest. And this year was just getting my so-called shotgun blown feet to grow back and get up on them again. So, you know, 2025 is going to be a really good year, I feel like. It's going to be that year where I got tons of plans to travel, and I'm not going to bitch out because I have a little anxiety about it. No, I'm going to do it. I need to do it. James Paul Allville needs to do this because he needs to get out there. And and you know what? Shouts out to a couple of Hooters employees. Two bartenders specifically. I don't think they want their names mentioned, but hopefully at some point they will. Man, they made me feel like a person, you know, in a world of people that just don't. So shouts out to them. Shouts out to the bartender at Ludlow Garage. He's a good dude. And just shouts out to Kiana. Shouts out to David. You two. You two are awesome. You two are awesome. So we get to the end of 2024. It is December 30th. And December 30th, we got 2 more days. Or actually, you know, yeah. Actually, yeah, 2 more days until New Year's. So, two more years until New Year's. 2 more days until New Year's. And, you know, we're going to bring 2025 in with a bang. We're going to do it right. We're going to do the single man living right. We're going to do the fun stuff that I'm going to do the fun stuff I've always wanted to do. There's a whole world out there and I want to go see it. We're going to start with Austin, Texas. The big ATX. I'm going to check out this guy helped me a lot too. And beginning of the year, Scott Grassner. He has a podcast called Just Be with Scotty G. That dude helped me out a lot, and I will link his information in the description. But he helped me out a lot too in the beginning of the year, and we are just getting to the point of the best part of it, man. We're just getting to it, and let me crack another cold one. Probably gonna hear it, but oh well. Welcome to the Mind of James. I'm talking to a lady, which is good. I will say this. Jesus said, cast ye net on the other side of the boat. So that's what I'm doing. And Man, if you would ask me 10 years if I would have went through what I did through in 2020, the last end of 2023 to the first half of 2024, I would have told you, no fucking way. No fucking way I would have went through that. No fucking way I was going to go through that. But I think the message was, what God was trying to teach me was that you need to appreciate what you have now. Because when I lived in that apartment, it was a nice apartment. It was a top tier, like the top tier of apartment living. And I did not appreciate a bit of it. I didn't care. I cared. I kept it clean, paid the bills, but I just did not appreciate any of it. And now, the biggest thing what I do now is I appreciate all of it. I appreciate the little things, the big things, and even the things in between. Even if I get, even if I had just a sip of cold beer is appreciated, man. Just a sip of cold beer. To wake up knowing that I have another chance to do something good, I appreciate that now. I appreciate so much. I appreciate that I got a car. Needs a new windshield. I'll give it that. That car needs a new windshield. But I appreciate that it needs a new windshield. It's fucked up. So at some point we'll get her a new windshield. You know what I'm saying? But shit like that will teach you to appreciate the little things. And there's so much in this world that there is to appreciate. Even if you're having the hardest time in your life like I did. Like, living at my parents and come back from Colorado and live with my parents for that time was my low point. Was the point that I was ready to cave in, stick a gun in my mouth, and say, see ya. And everybody would have knew why. But to appreciate the fact that I didn't do it, and to appreciate the fact that I'm still here standing, getting everything back that I lost, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Captain Jack Sparrow said, it's not so much the destination, but the journey. So enjoy your journey. And do know that what I like to do is I like to live in the reality of what I want, of where I want to be. So I want to live in the reality of being podcaster, streamer, working for myself. I live in that reality. In my head, I am in that reality. That's what motivates me. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning to be like, okay, I know what I have to do. I got bills to pay, so I got to go to work. But eventually the work that I have to do is this podcast and streaming. That'll be the work that I have. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that's what I do to help myself. And if it's writing it down on a piece of paper and reading it every day, that's what it takes. But just, you'll learn, you'll hit one of those spots where you learn to appreciate shit. You will. You really will. And if you want to see more of me, which I hope you do, my website is jpauvil.wixsite. That's wixsite.com/on-the-level-162. For this podcast, the Instagram is @mindofjpa. The TikTok is @mindofjpa. Streaming is www.twitch.tv/on the level 162. Instagram at on a level 162, and TikTok is at on the level 162. You can email me, mindofjpapodcast at gmail.com. I want to thank you all for joining me for another episode, the 2024 recap. The year that went through the glass and came out a beautiful glass piece. Remember to fear God and keep His commandments, and I will see you on the next one.